Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here on this Friday morning. Got a big show lined up. Be giving away some fresh seafood from Tarpon Dock pretty soon, and also we'll be giving a good fishing report. It's been a good week fishing here in the Panhandle. But first, let's get our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. There at the corner of Baldwin and 77. High today 84 and low 69. Almost exactly it was yesterday. Water temperature is 80. Exactly what it was yesterday. It's not much change at all. The river is brought to us by Mountain Dew. Take it outside with Mountain Dew, a refreshing drink right there. Apalachicola, Bluntstown, it's at a 9.1. It's got a slow drop to it. It's right up under 10 foot. We're hoping it's going to drop on out. I mentioned this yesterday, early part of the week. We had anticipated, but you just never know. You can't really pick out what's going to happen on the weekends. But it's going to be a little high on the river. Now the Choctaw at Caryville, it's at 7 foot, 7.1 to be exact. Both of them got a little bit of a drop to it, but just be prepared to if you're going to fish. And we plan to fish some this weekend. Try to get up into some sloughs and all, and try to find some beds and all. We got our full moon tomorrow night. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Pretty decent tide today. High is 8:32 this morning, and low is at 6:15. And our wind direction, again, very similar to yesterday, same direction and same speed, south-southeast at about 10. Today's a twin day of yesterday. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Finishing up on the tide chart, I was just looking at it again during the break. There's some really good tides, today and tomorrow, and all next week it'll be really good, strong tides. So if you want to check that chart again, it's looking good. I just got off the phone with Sea Quarters Marina, and they've had a very good week. I want to go and talk about them before I get to the fishing report. The grouper, grouper season open down there, and they catch a lot of grouper, but they said quite a few of them on the short side. But the grouper bite's pretty strong. They said the redfish and trout and pompano has really been strong around Caryville. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's look at some pictures on this little segment right here. I've got quite a few, and we're going to start off with we talk about outdoor photography, and Tom Gurley is one of our better ones around here. Just a simple picture like that, the butterfly on goldenrod. But if you just look at the colors and all, it always fascinates me at nature's colors and how brilliant they are just naturally. Okay, then the sporting clays, this is tomorrow, 4-man team or single shooter, and they're going to have a big lunch up there. The Quality Deer Management Association, and that's a good group. Jimmy Higgins and A.B. Smith help run that, and that'll be a fundraiser tomorrow at the Bay County Shooting Range. Okay, and while we're making announcements, next Saturday, the 25th, down at Howard Creek is going to be the annual brim fishing tournament and fish fry. So you need to go to it. It's a Shad-Eye Director Staff. That's the group that puts this on. And you know what a wonderful job the Shad-Eye Temple, what all they do and help people. So to enter, it's $30 a boat, and they're going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning. Weigh-in's at 3 o'clock, right there at the upper landing. But you go down there and just get something to eat. A fish place with all the fixings, $10. That's a good deal. It's going to be they start serving fish at 2 o'clock. Bob, J.E., Leon, and Bill. Those guys helping run it, okay? That's next Saturday. Here's a good picture here from Bob Bilsma. They did keep a few today. And Bob, Levon Bilsma, they were good fishermen. That's a nice mess of fish from the river down there, okay? And we're talking about some nice redfish. This is one of my former students, Jonathan Doolin, right there to pass. Jonathan didn't get to fish much in high school because he played so much basketball, but now he's getting to catch up with it. Good job, Jonathan. And okay, now I'm going to skip over. Let me go over to another group of pictures I have right here, I think. Yeah, hey, good morning. This is from Deb Crumknocker, and if this picture looks familiar because I showed it last week, good morning, Winston. Thank you for showing this about the sea turtle. Just want to say that Marty found that this was the first loggerhead nest. It was on Little St. George Island. I said Cape San Blas. I was mistaken, so I'm correcting that mistake. It's really not that big of a deal, but someone might say something about the first nest being found on Little St. George Island. Have you enjoyed your show? So that was not a Cape San blast, but they look alike. The islands look just alike looking at this angle right here. So first nest there on Little St. George. Okay, this is fascinating. This picture, you know the power poles, how the power poles sort of extend back behind your boat, and this guy, and then they'll stick in the sand. Well, this guy stuck a flounder on his power pole. Now, can you imagine that? It can't happen because it goes down straight down, and the flounder don't know anything about it. I hadn't thought about that, but I'm not surprised at seeing that. That's fascinating, though. Okay, Mike Spence he got a little group of pictures sent to the Panama City fishing page. Went kayak fishing early one morning this week, and there he goes. He's got for a nice trout. He got a little GoPro on it, so he's filming it. He got a little GoPro on his head. Jeff, I guess I need to do that, don't I? Put a little GoPro on top of my head. And good pictures here. And nice redfish. This is a good little trip. Great kayak fishing. Okay, and there it is. You got a nice meal right there. Some nice young fish that'll be good to eat. Okay. Let's see. I've got a little email I wanted to read. Let me go ahead and let me read this, and I'll just read it to you. This is from one of our viewers. And, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break. I'll come back and read it. I'll get it set up, okay? Welcome back. Glad you're with us this Friday. I pulled out a flare. I was checking my flares last night, and I did not realize it. My flares are expiring. They were manufactured in February of 2016, and they're going to expire in July of July of this year. They're expiring. Now, I've said that's a good business to be in if you have a flare company, because every 3 years people got to buy new ones. One thing about flares is I really believe in them strongly. A lot of times, though, go over everything in your boat. Make sure you're familiar with it. A lot of times, that's one of the last things you look at, flares, because you think you never need them, and probably 90% of us will never need them. But know how to, a lot of people don't know which end to grab, and a lot of times you grab the heavy end is the red end, so usually you grab a heavy end of anything, but the red end, that's the one that goes off. And I'm not going to do it in the studio here, but this red plastic part, you just pull it off and hold it out from you. So you hold the white end, the red end goes out. So always remember that. And I don't know the proper way to dispose these. I got to find out. But I've always wanted to just do some at night, practicing and all. But then you don't want to send out a little boy crying wolf signal. That is so. They're interesting. Maybe we'll do it on July 4th. That'd be a good time to do it. But anyway, check it out. And then I got to thinking about flares, and I got to think about the statistics on the boating accidents. And you know how I am on statistics. I'll get carried away sometimes, but they're fascinating to me. And I've got this picture right here. This is local here in Florida, and I read the story on this particular accident here. You see the boat, and this was a fatality here. There were 2 people on board, and the guy driving was distracted. He was trying to tell his passenger where to put his cup in there. Now, you stop and think about that. He's telling the passenger, so he looked away. The passenger lived to tell the story. He said, the guy looked and showed me where to put my cup over here. And he looked up, he lost control of it, and went up in that area and threw him out. And that was down around the Tampa area, down below Tampa maybe. Anyway, the top 10 counties in Florida, you can see, are we very proud of the Panhandle? We're not even in the top 10 on boating accidents, so I'm very proud of that. I know all of us are. But you can see, and I don't understand, of course, you understand why Monroe and Dade County, the 1, 2, and all the way, and it's just an enormous number of people down there, and around Tampa, and then Daytona Beach got in there at number 10. Okay, so here are the statistics I was talking about. The fatalities in the states. Look at the bottom of the screen. Florida leads the nation, as I always do, followed closely now by Texas. I was surprised to see Texas that high, because you stop and think, they don't have that many miles of coastline. And I got to thinking, I bet a lot of that would be maybe some industry, with the oil industry, some of those boats and all, I'm thinking. Of course, California has a huge coastline. The rest of them are pretty close. I was surprised to see Tennessee at number 10, because they don't have that many. But of course, Michigan's in there, and Alabama. anyway, Florida leads and follow closely. And here, okay, I'm just looking at this data here. This is what month of the year are you most likely to have it? Well, look at here, April and October are the two leading months. I was really surprised at October. I was thinking the summer because I was thinking more people would be, I really thought July would be up there, all the July 4th activities and all, but that's just a fascinating statistic to me right there, that October has more accidents than anybody, I mean, way up there. That's out of 59 fatalities. Okay, what time of day? Look at what time of day is going to happen. That was interesting too. It's going to happen usually around between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, either between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, the time of day. The mornings are pretty decent, but the afternoons, and I don't know if alcohol contributes to that or not, but that's interesting to me too. And then I looked at the one at midnight. What happened at midnight? 3 people. Okay, what type are they? And look at the bottom line right there. Falls overboard. 18 of them fell overboard. Or then the next one, a collision with a fixed object, and then getting swamped. And that's usually a smaller boat. That's 3 from the bottom right there. Usually a smaller boat. In fact, that leads over collision. I would thought collision would be up there, and then of course capsize. I'm going from bottom to top. Okay, and all the others just they were interesting. One of them was a fire, and one of them struck on water. Okay, accident site location. The most locations, believe it or not, is in a lake and a pond. And then next would be the bays and the sound, and then rivers and creeks. Those are the top 3. And of course, you can understand that. The Gulf did not have that many, or neither did the canals, like the intercoastal waterway. I mean, they had about half of what the lakes and ponds did. That was I love showing this to my students and all. So anyway, and then what size? Way on the bottom here, what kind of boat? Most of them are just an open motor boat. They had on the bottom there, followed closely by canoe and kayak, and then a PWC, and only one airboat, which tells me there are not many people using airboats. They're a lot safer than they are now. They used to be, and the primary cause of death, of course, was drowning, and then trauma was next, and then check this out, guys. The operator gender, as all of you guys, 94% of accidents, fatalities were 94% male. So don't talk about female driving. And the age on the left side, 51 years plus, that's 56%, and then down on the bottom right, age group 36 to 50. So most of them are over 50. That would be a total of almost 70%. And listen, there was only we're talking about teenagers, there was only one fatality of teenagers. So that's good. And 1 or 2 more, that's experience. So people even with over 100 hours experience are the ones that have the most accidents. What I'm doing, getting careless. And the boater education. This is interesting. 77% of the fatalities came from no boater education. Okay, 77%. And we're talking about getting that. That's real easy to get and real easy to do. And last one, victim statistics. Not wearing a PFD, 80% of the people were not wearing a PFD. Okay, so that's the statistics on the. I get carried away with that. I hope you enjoyed it. It was very, very learning, knowledgeable to me. So let's get ready for our drawing, our Tarpon Rock seafood drawing. I got to add some names somewhere. I promise these people I'd add. Here they are right here. Let's add these names to it, okay? Now we got from Fountain, we have Bob K. from Fountain. From Deer Point Lake, Arisha Dutton. And then Bo and Chastity Drummond from up there in Chipley. They sent a very nice email, okay? So we got new people in here. And we put the guys back in here after the Mother's Day drawing. Now it's guys and girls in here, so you guys have a chance to get to. And what happens, these things get stuck behind each other, and that's why I see one of these old-fashioned things, wheels had them like that, and that was the reason, because they wouldn't get stuck up. Okay. All right, to the winner, $20 gift certificate. The winner is going to be from Teloja Paul Summerlin. That's 2 weeks in a row. Teloja's won. That's a high percentage over there. That's a good job. I'm going to try to loosen these up here. And a big red snapper is going to be from Sneed's William Jones, Telogia and Sneed's, two good fishing communities. Now, the thing about Tarpon Dog Seafood, this time last week we were doing the Moser fish fry, but I was just looking at that grouper they bring up and that shrimp. Seafood that's just good fresh seafood. If you get on their Facebook page, they will tell you when the boats are coming in and what they're bringing in. If they're bringing in tuna or they're bringing in grouper, they say so and so the Marianne is unloading right now, and usually on the morning they're unloading. So if you really want good fresh seafood, go to their page and find out when the boat's unloading and just run down there right after lunch, because they unloaded that morning and get it clean by that afternoon. It's right there in the market. So it just don't get any better than that on seafood. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with our famous Friday fishing report. Okay, welcome back and glad you're with us. So let's start off on our famous Friday fishing report by just saying it's been really good fishing all week. Now the river did get a little bit high, but there's some really good reports. And I want to start off, now I just mentioned Carabel, so let's start off. I usually start off on a western end on the Choctaw River and talk about that with all the reports from Larry Brown. But today I want to start off, just keep things mixed up and all, as far as on the eastern end, Lake Wimico. A lot of times I sort of just brush over Lake Wimico, say this and that, but I want you to, now these are not labeled here, but this is, okay, Lake Wimico, you want to put in, okay, let's go to White City. There's a boat ramp right there at White City. Okay, come down the Intercoastal Waterway and come into Wimico. Now this is a fascinating lake. Now Mark Halsey talked about it yesterday, and what happens, you got some feeder creeks in it and the brim and all. I want to show it on my right shoulder. This is a map right here that was painted by Dennis Landingham. And of course on the top left-hand corner is Indian, that's Indian Bayou right there. You got Cersei Creek and Indian Bayou, and then you got, right here, you got Double Bayou, and then Columbus Bayou down here, and right here, he put that in Depot Creek. So, okay, so if I point them out to you, of course, Depot Creek and Columbus Bayou, and then, but this whole area, to fish it, if you got a southeast wind, you want to hug the shoreline here in a smaller boat. If you got a north wind, you fish it on that side. And there's so many places to fish. Fly fishermen love it because it's sort of open. I've got a good friend of mine, Marion Smith, who loves to fly fish that area. So I want to recommend Lake Wimico as one of the top spots. Now let's go into St. Joe Bay, since we had Mark on yesterday, and you heard what he said. It's been red hot. And he fishes all over as a fishing guide. He fishes all over. And one of the areas, you will talk about he'll fish Town Beach, you'll come down and then fish the west side. But now he puts in here at the marina here, and he has a pass, of course, and he fishes, he buys a season pass, but he fishes all along the Town Beach area, and he fishes also down on the west side. And according to what the weather is, again, if you got a north wind and all, he'll stay here, hug over here, but whatever the wind's doing, he can fish it. But now you can also put in, and he had a good point yesterday about keeping this pass open, okay? But you can put it in a state park, and I'll hopefully do that soon. And I'm gonna go up to what we call Pompano Point. The Pompano right at the tip. This is the Pompano Point here. The Pompano right out here at the tip, okay? I've got a report from Mexico Beach. They're starting to fish again at Mexico Beach. In this area right here in St. Joe Beach, it's been pretty decent. They're catching some whiting. I talked to a young lady yesterday that they're catching some whiting, and she said she lost a big old pompano, but it's been steady surf fishing there. Okay, Crooked Island Sound has been really good. Now remember, you need a pass. You need a Tyndall pass, sportsman pass, to go fishing in that area. And I've let mine expire, so I'm in the process of applying for my Tyndall pass because I had to pass up a fishing trip there because I didn't have a pass. Okay, coming into St. Andrew Bay, excellent fishing. It's been really good fishing this week. East Bay's been hot. It's been really fascinating getting all these reports. East Bay's been hot. West Bay has been good. It hasn't been great, but it's been good. I want to let's go over Well, let me go ahead and read it while we've got time. I'm gonna run out of time. I'm gonna go ahead and read the report from Choctawhatchee from Larry Brown. Okay, we finally have some bait coming in on the east end and a few trout and reds following. So get some bait fish coming up in the Choctawhatchee area. The brim aren't. This is a good point here. The brim still aren't gathered up right. I only heard of a few good catches. What it means, they just hadn't sort of clumped up together where you start catching right and left and all. They should be there today. Should fish it today. They should be there today. The bass, the bass have a lot of pressure on them. A lot of boats on the river. The water temperature, the river temperature right there is 77 degrees on the Choctawhatchee River. Okay, I've heard Lake Seminole. We don't talk about Lake Seminole a lot, but you saw the pictures up here of the huge bass up at Lake Seminole. And Elliott Melvin, you saw it's red hot. If you're a bass fisherman, I know you want to be on Lake Seminole this weekend, and all kind of places to fish there. Okay, now let's go ahead. We got about a minute or two left. Let's get back down here to St. Andrew Bay. Okay, but let's go and mention surf fishing over there on the west end of the beach. Surf fishing from Pompano. I mention it every Friday. I keep wanting to talk about it. Go to those public access areas. People ask me where to go. All those public access areas on the west end. The further west you go, the better off you are as far as getting away from the people and catching more fish. So keep that in mind. Even into Walton County, and we've showed you the places there in Walton County and all these beach access places are down Laguna Beach, Sunnyside, right before you get to Lake Powell. All those places right in here. We're going to be excellent. Again, like I say, the state park there at Camp Helen, you have a little bit of a walk, but there's some really good fishing there. So this end right here is one of the top areas to fish in the whole Panhandle as far as pompano fishing. Okay, got to wrap things up. We've had a good week. Next week, we've got all kind of guests coming in next week, and all kind of good things happening as far as fishing and all. So this weekend, you want to get out, make sure your boat's running, make sure your flares are in good shape, make sure everything, you got fresh gas, new gas and everything, and enjoy the great outdoors. Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. It's been a good week. I enjoyed having Captain Mark Housey on yesterday talking about all the St. Joe Bay stuff going on. So you do something good for the fellow man. Have a great weekend, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.